Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today, gonna come at you with the what's next on Billy Joe Saunders, the now former 2-division world champion, following his 8th round TKO loss to Canelo Alvarez as he attempted to unify belts on Saturday, May 8th on DAZN. You know, it was the biggest fight of Saunders' career, and you know what? Saunders showed up to fight. He actually fought a lot better and delivered a lot more than Callum Smith did. He actually was trying, and he was boxing well. He got outlanded by only, I think it was 13 punches, so he was doing all right. He was getting outworked by Canelo, you know? I mean, no argument there. Canelo was winning the fight. That's why it kind of makes me laugh that some of the people were, Billy Joe was winning. No, he wasn't. He was losing the fight. He was getting outworked. The numbers reflect that. Canelo's power punching is what was winning him the fight. Billy Joe was throwing jabs and different things like that were effective, don't get me wrong, but Canelo landed 52% of his shots, so of his power shots. So that's what was winning the fight for him. And once Canelo came forward in that 8th round, started coming forward, he started getting a little closer and a little closer. Billy Joe was having success at first, at the closer that Canelo got. But Canelo timed his punches. He landed a money uppercut that broke the orbital bone of Billy Joe Saunders, and Saunders couldn't continue, you know? So that's what happened in the fight. So now the big question is, he's having surgery, or he had surgery the other day. The big question is, what's next for Billy Joe Saunders? Well, first off, Billy Joe's going to be a lot more humble now, in my opinion. He's still going to talk shit. That's what Billy Joe does. You know, but I think, you know, he's going to be humbled on where he stands in boxing. You know, he's not the best. He did okay against Canelo. He showed up, he fought. His style was a style that gave Canelo a little bit of problem, but Canelo's so damn good and the pound-for-pound king right now, it wasn't enough, you know. But Billy Joe's got nothing to hang his head about. He fought hard, you know, he fought well. But now, what's possibly next? Well, first off, I personally don't think he's fighting anybody that's any good in the top 10, not even close. I think by the time he comes back, I don't think he's fighting for the rest of this year. I think because of the surgery and just because this was a big fight, he's going to take some time off. I don't think we see Billy Joe Saunders back until maybe next year around the same time. Maybe at least the first quarter of the year next year. I highly doubt we see Billy Joe for a while. But, you know, by the time he comes back, I doubt he fights a top 10 guy. I just don't see it. You know, and next year, if he's still with Eddie Hearn, which he is, let's project ourselves to there and see what possibly could be next at that point, you know? I'll do that. I'll briefly run through 160 and 168 just to see. Start with 160. Triple G, Gennady Golovkin. I doubt that fight's going to be there, you know? Maybe at some point Triple G would fight him, but, you know, I doubt it. A Charlo fight, Jamal Charlo, I don't see that. Charlo's not going to take a risk on a guy like Billy Joe. It's just not going to happen. You know, even next year. Demetrius Andrade might be slugging around still looking for an opponent. He might fight Billy Joe if it's an eliminator or a vacant title fight, something of that sort. Maybe he'll fight him, or if it's for a title. I don't know if Billy Joe would want that fight. You know, honestly, I'm stopping right there. I don't know who's going to want to fight him or who he's going to want to fight. He could end up retiring. I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. I hope he doesn't, because I think Billy Joe is a legitimate top 10 super middleweight in the world. I think there's a couple guys he might be able to beat, and there's a couple fights out there that I would like to see, you know, him in. Domestic fights. I'd love to see a rematch with him and Chris Eubank. I'd love to see him and Callum Smith go at it. You know, there are fights out there. I'd like to see him and Daniel Jacobs, but we just are not going to know what's next for him until he comes back. So I'm not going to waste my time running through the 2 top 10s at 160 and 168 if I don't feel like he's even going to fight any of those guys next. But Billy Joe can sell a fight. I think he did himself maybe a little bit of a disservice, you know, because some guys are going to see that he gave Canelo trouble, and they're not going to want to have anything to do with his his style. But he also brings some money to the table now. He's a guy that's been in the ring with Canelo. He's a guy that got hurt with Canelo. If guys are brave enough, they might fight him, you know? But he might get forced into a position where he has to fight Chris Eubank or Callum Smith. And he shouldn't, you know, shrug his shoulders and shy away from fights like that once he gets back and he gets rolling. Because those are good fights, you know, and those fights will sell, you know. So we just got to wait and see when he comes back, which I don't think it's going to be till 2022, and what position he puts himself in after he gets activated again. I don't believe he moves up to 175, but Billy Joe has had trouble with weight before, so maybe. But I think he's better suited at 168, and I think if he's disciplined and he wants to get a world title back, I think he comes back. But I don't see him fighting at 175, but you never know. So we'll see, but that's the what's next on Billy Joe Saunders. I really believe when he does finally come back, it's not going to be till next year, and it's probably going to be against a low-level competition that he can just shake off some rust against and get a win back. So we'll see what happens. But that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.